Today, we are going to rebuild this. I'm currently in my very first Minecraft world. I started this in like March or April of 2011. If you're 9 years old, you may not have even been born when I built this. If you're 12 years old, you might have been wearing diapers when I first built this. This was the first very big build that I ever did, and for me at the time, it was a very, very big build. Now, not so much. After 9 years of practicing, I've learned that I can do a little bit better than this. We also have a lot of blocks at our disposal that I didn't have back in the day, so that's going to help out a lot as well. But before we get started, I want to take a quick moment to thank the sponsor that made this video possible, Filmora. I often, all the time, get asked what editing software I use or what I would recommend to somebody that's brand new. When I first started out, I just used the editing software that came with my computer, and I used that for several months, but I really wish something like this was around when I got started. Filmora 9 is something that it's got just about everything you would need when you're starting out. I've been messing around with this program for the best part of today, and I feel like there's so much included in this program. It's unbelievable. One of the coolest things in this whole thing is this beat detector. So you can implement a song and it'll analyze it and mark where all the beats are. I don't know if there's anything like this on any of the software that I've ever used, where it analyzes and it puts a marker where the beat is. So it just shows you, you want to cut here, you want to cut here, you want to cut here. If you're just starting out on YouTube, this is where you start. This is it. Now, if you check the link in the description down below, you can try Filmora free. And you can try it free, the trial version, as long as you want. But if you want to upgrade past that free version, for the year, it's actually cheaper than most of the professional editing software is per month. So it seems like a really, really good option to me. This is one I highly recommend. Check it out in the description below. I think you're going to enjoy it. Before I did YouTube, I was a general contractor, so Home Depot was a place that I visited a lot. So it just made sense for me to store all of my materials in a Home Depot. So I decided to make it. And this was my interpretation of it at the time. We have a lot more blocks now, so I would need to, if I wanted to store every block in the game, I would need to have a much larger area. But this is where I had the majority of my storage. Then back here, I had like a garden center where I could grow some trees. And let's see. Sure, there's a couple trees in there and an axe and a saddle randomly as well. And then back here, this is like the flower section of the garden section in Home Depot. The idea was there. I got kind of the layout, but the look really wasn't on point. There were some things that I missed. Over here, this was kind of random and a bit of a stretch, but this was like a mob farm where I could have like mob loot and stuff over here. Back in the day, zombies used to drop feathers. So I have a bunch of feathers there as well, and a bed right in the middle. Obviously, this doesn't look very much like a Home Depot, but the feel was kind of there. I want to do this more appropriately. I want to build something that's going to look more like a real-life Home Depot. What if I were to make this today? The first thing I would do is I would work out a block palette. And of course, the sand is about the right color. It's kind of this beige tan color. So I think that will work, but I think we'd be better off using smooth sandstone. I think that's going to be good. And then for the orange is good, and you could use orange concrete, but since we have slabs with red sandstone, I think that's going to work, because instead of spelling these huge letters and taking up all this space, we can actually use these to kind of do some letters like this. I mean, if I would put a slab there, but you can get an H like that. You can kind of use slabs to make smaller letters. So I think red sandstone will work out really nice for us. Acacia is also an option, but I think red sandstone will be the best. As far as good stone materials, we only really had cobblestone and regular stone. And back in the day, cobblestone looked far more contrasty than this. It was almost black the lines in between. So that wasn't going to really work. I think to get an idea of like the parking lot, I think we're going to do andesite and stone, just kind of mixed up like this to kind of give that idea of it's rough. It's a little bit rough, but you get that kind of grayish, smooth feel. So that's going to add a little more interest in this parking lot area. But the most important thing we're going to do to help make this thing look better is think about the scale. The scale of this, believe it or not, is far too tall. One block in Minecraft is 3 feet by 3 feet, or 1 meter by 1 meter. Our character is approximately 6 feet tall. So if you think about real life scale, if you do this, 1, 2, 3, that's 9 feet or 3 meters right there. So to think about the actual height inside, I think at max, they're all different sizes, but at max, 30 feet or 10 meters would probably be as tall as you want to go. So believe it or not, we were a little too ambitious before. We built it a little too tall. I mean, so all the buildings are different. Some Home Depots are much taller, but on the majority scale, I think 30 feet is about right. So that's about how tall we're going to make it, but it's going to be much, much longer. So it's time to start tearing this baby out and start from scratch. Look at this space. Holy cow. This is what I'm talking about. It might seem a little shorter, but it's going to be much wider and much deeper. It's going to be huge. Big square. We're going to need a lot more space. Lots more blocks in the game. And this, so I think for the exterior, we're going to go, hello, sheepy. Hi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 12 tall. 12 tall to allow us some room to have some stuff in the ceiling, like some rafters and stuff like that. But 12 tall, and we're going to take it all the way down to over there. I think that's going to be a pretty huge space. Actually, not all the way down because the garden center will be out there. So we'll probably land right about here. And maybe we'll leave this little remnants of the mob farm underneath, just in case. Who knows? And now we're talking. Huh? This is looking pretty good. Doesn't it feel good? It feels like the appropriate scale. And one of the biggest things that I want to get in here is I want to kind of get some of these letters in. And like I said earlier, with the slabs, you get a lot more. Well, actually, let's go like this. It's going to be easier to do the stairs. With the slabs and stairs, you're going to have a lot more freedom to do some things that where you can kind of squeeze the letters in a little smaller. If you need a lot of space, if you want to get them really small, you can just do them in banners. That's another thing. But this is a nice way to go. I'm obviously not going to do all of these letters on camera, but you can kind of give it an idea of what it's going to look like. So if we do the E here, and then boom, 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 boom. Not that far out. That's a little too crazy. But that's looking pretty good for a home. Let's get Depot in there. And then I think I'll start to work out a little bit of the entrances and the awnings and stuff on the front facade. Now this is a huge difference. Doesn't it feel so much better? Oh my goodness. But compared to what it was before, with the huge letters and the glowstone and stuff out, this feels more like the real thing. If I were to make a Home Depot today, I think this is what the front facade would look like, for sure. Obviously, in 5 years, when we get a bunch more blocks, this could totally change. And I would say, yeah, this is stupid now. So what I did some things. Put like some ladders out here. They'll have some stuff on display outside. We could go for days and days on decoration. There's a little hot dog stand out here, and these are like fences or doors, or lots of just random storage. Arrows. You don't usually find those at Home Depot, but it works. It does the trick. Now, for the inside, we got to go way back there, all the way back. And for the inside, here's something interesting we're going to do. If you saw my interiors video that I did recently, how I kind of do my interiors, I usually, if it's big enough, I'll usually double thick the walls. I'll make them too thick so that you can have kind of a separate color on the inside. So I think we'll do something like this, where it'll be white for the most part, but then this is where there's actually an orange. The orange concrete in this game actually looks pretty good as far as like a Home Depot orange. This is a little bit dull. But since we won't need slabs or anything like that, we can use this as kind of an accent stripe on the inside. And I think this is a really nice bright orange. So the inside will be white and it'll have that orange stripe going all the way around. And then for the floor, it's going to be a little more polished. We're not going to do the stone and the andesite on the inside. We're going to go with a light gray concrete in here. And they also, in these big superstores, they have kind of a little bit of a way of directing you to let you know this is where you want to go and this is where the paths and the aisles are. So we're going to use two colors. We're going to use the light gray concrete, but then to kind of signify this is where the walkways are, we'll use the cyan terracotta to kind of pull that off. I think that's going to look pretty nice. So I want to get all that installed. But another thing, by the way, the two thick walls also allow us, we've got like a cartography table in this thing here. It allows us to kind of put this inset into the wall. It just looks like a decoration on the outside, but it's actually tucked into the wall. So yeah, the two thick walls kind of help us in that area. So I'm going to get this whole interior worked out. I had skylights on the last build, and I think I'm going to do that again as well. Skylights. So let's get the inside built. Oh boy. Holy huge. Hello, sheepy. A little random sheep employee. We should dye him orange, shouldn't we? Yes, you will be orange because you're here. You're doing customer service. Aha, how may I help you today? He's perfect. I love it. Okay, that's something I would have never done, but I think sheep all over the place would be hilarious. Anyway, huge space. Very, very big space. And the interior is where things get a little bit difficult because, like I said, you need things that are kind of smaller than one block. Ideally, this is like vertical slabs would help a lot. Walls are going to help a lot, but we need to make racks for storage. And to fill this whole place could take forever. So I don't think we're going to do, every single block in the game, but we'll get the racks in and kind of just duplicate them just to get an idea of how it would feel. But you guys get an idea of the space when it's all empty and open. It looks massive. Very, very huge. But yeah, I think we'll get some of the racks in. I think we'll do this outside area too. This will be where the garden center is. There's like two garden centers. There's like a greenhouse and then there's an outdoor garden center. And that's where we'll kind of have our tree growing area. We'll try to bring everything over that we had before. So I'll get working on that. The racks, I think we'll go walls. We'll go something like this, and then slabs, we'll do like a stone slab. So I think the rack would go something like this, and we'll probably go close to the ceiling. We'll take it up about this tall, and then on this lower level, we'll have something like that, and then some more posts. And how deep will we go? We'll take it maybe like this. Boom, boom. It'll probably be 4 deep. So this is going to be a lot larger in scale than they are in real life, I believe. Because if we're taking the 3 meter per block rule, we're about 12 feet or 4 meters wide. And that's a little bigger than it is in real life. And then obviously we'll put another row of stuff right there. So, I mean, fill this whole place out. We're going to have tons of storage. This could be, if you guys wanted to do this, this could be a great way to kind of store all your stuff in your world. But anyway, I'll get these racks in place, and we'll see how she looks. Oh, baby, baby, baby. Garden section done. Interior section done. And I really wish. I want to start playing on this world again. Look at that. 50 subscriber special, 100 subscriber special, 500 subscriber special. Oh, man, the memories. To have something like this for a storage area is so cool. So I got all the racks in, and just keep in mind, these are all pretty much the same, as you can see. It's just repeating, but you get the feel. And if you wanted to do this, in game, you could do some really cool things. Like you could use this if you wanted like a lumber thing. You could kind of go like this. Whoops, don't do that. There we go. Boom, boom, boom. And it looks like stacks of lumber kind of in the rack. is kind of cool. You could do the same thing with stone. But I did those banners up top to kind of, you know how they have like the aisle markers and stuff like that. I think it looks pretty cool. There's usually like a little hardware, so you could put some ins and odds and ends, cauldrons, brewing stands, stuff like that in a section like this. But then, yeah, all the blocks all lined up throughout here. Tons of detail that could be added to this. Employees sections and racks in the back and stuff. But you can kind of get an idea. I'll fly through kind of fast how it feels. I think it feels pretty cool. And then boom, there's your exit. Cash registers to store your diamonds. These are just ideas that I think could be pretty cool. But then out in the garden section, this is kind of quick and dirty as well. But it gives a way to kind of show, hey, you know, this is where all the farming stuff would be. You know, we fill all these flower pots with flowers. Could be really cool. And then out here is where the trees are. Our tree farm that we had before, we can just move this right out here. And this feels a lot more realistic, like how Home Depot actually is. And I think we nailed it. And then there's an exterior section here. If you're just going into the garden section and checking out of the garden section, some garden stuff out here as well. Oh, I think it looks awesome. I'm really happy. This is a big improvement from what we had before. I think our old building was about to here and a lot taller, but we shrink it down to fit the size and the scale and then way wider and way deeper. And it kind of makes it feel even more massive than the old one, even though it's shorter. I like this. I'm really, really happy with it. Hopefully you guys like it too. Maybe this will give you guys some inspiration for some things you'd want to do. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. This was a blast. I had so much fun. This is just a nice, fun, chill thing to do. And I know I'm going to date this video, but today's Father's Day, so I got to go spend some time with my kids. Leave me a like on this video if you enjoyed it and if you got some inspiration, or subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you all in the next episode.